Have you ever taught a pupil who had an extraordinary skill set that was far above their age-related expectations? Maybe they were naturally artistic, had a real talent for singing and performing, or they could answer any calculation in their head when most of their peers would struggle with a calculator. It's always a pleasure to have pupils in your class who are particularly gifted and talented, but how can you ensure their needs are met? Do you feel equipped to nurture these pupils, allowing them to pursue and achieve in their particular skills or talents? Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from My Progression, and this video is part 1 of 2 all about our most able pupils. We're going to be exploring what makes our pupils gifted and talented and how to find the gold. In our second video, we're going to cover how to ensure that your pupils are able to remain challenged in their area of expertise and how to cultivate an environment to help them be as successful as possible. So what is gifted and talented? When we work with pupils in our schools, we're educating our future workforce. Some will grow up to be teachers themselves, some will do apprenticeships and become engineers, plumbers, hairdressers or accountants. Some may choose a university route and study specific subjects to follow their career path, while others may dive straight into the working world and progress that way. No matter what your pupil wishes to achieve, it's so important to recognise their strengths or talents and support them to explore these in as much detail as possible. So when you observe the pupils you teach, what do you see? Do you see their grades, their enthusiasm, their particular gifts, or maybe even their struggles? The question you should ask yourself is, am I meeting all of their needs? With a range of pupils in your class who may have different abilities, skills, passions or talents, how can you ensure all pupils are challenged in a way that's appropriate for their skill level or aptitude? In England, there's no national definition of more able or gifted students. And since the Young Gifted and Talented programme closed in 2010 in favour of reallocating funds to help disadvantaged students get into university, there's no form of national support for these pupils either. However, there is a responsibility to those children who show a gift in a specific area of learning to ensure that they, along with all other pupils, meet their full potential. The Department for Education distinguishes between gifted learners and talented children. Gifted learners are those who have particular academic abilities, such as performing at a level far above their age-related expectations in science, English or maths. Talented learners are those who have particular abilities in the creative arts, such as music, art, design, drama, dance, or physically excel in sports or fitness in PE. The terms gifted and talented distinguish between academic and creative success. And from 2002 to 2010, schools were required to have a gifted and talented register. On this register, teachers would identify those who were showing exceptional aptitude in an area of learning. Ofsted referred to these pupils as most able, but you may have heard the terms high achievers, highly able, or high current attainer. All of these terms encompass pupils who have shown exceptional skills academically or creatively. So it may be worth checking with your school which phrase they prefer to use when you're conversing with parents or colleagues. Do you have any experience of pupils who show real gifts and talents who are high attainers? We'd love to hear how you managed the pupil, what you did, and what support your school put in place to meet the needs of this pupil. Please feel free to leave a comment below, and whilst you're there, like, subscribe and click on the bell to keep hearing more from My Progression. Ofsted evaluates whether schools nurture, develop and stretch pupils' talents and interests. In 2 evaluative reports published in 2013 and 2015, Ofsted was critical of the support provided to more able pupils and called upon schools to improve their curriculums and work with their families to support aspiration. Estyn, the Welsh schools regulator, concluded in 2018 that in around a third of schools, more able pupils were not achieving as well as they should. The Welsh Government announced additional funding for the Seren network, a set of 11 regional hubs in Wales to help sixth formers in Welsh state schools to get to Russell Group universities, and said further changes would be considered within the context of the new curriculum which was introduced in 2022. Deciding if a pupil is gifted and talented can be very subjective. Who decides if one pupil is gifted and talented or if another isn't quite there yet? This can feel like a lot of pressure. It's important to encompass a range of methods to identify these pupils, so rather than relying on feeling that a pupil should be recognised, here are some factors to consider when identifying high achievers. Nomination by self, staff, parents and peers. Often the pupil themselves and their family will be aware of their gift in a subject. The class will all agree that Josh is the best at maths, or other teachers may say Beth is dancing all the time. By keeping your ear to the ground and picking up what people are saying, it can put the pupil onto your radar, meaning it's easier to fulfill your responsibility to meet the learning needs of the pupil. Teacher observation and assessment. Staff recognise quickly that a student has a real aptitude and shows understanding of concepts way above age-related expectations. Keep notes of the pupil's achievements and remember to evidence any observations you've made. Using assessment for learning will allow you to check the pupil's understanding as well as understanding how challenged they are. Asking questions like, "Josh, can you explain how you did this calculation in your head?" can enlighten you about the way your pupil's brain works. We can even learn from our pupils sometimes. Data and pupil tracking processes. More formal testing will also tell a story. Some children can appear to be very talented in an area, but then when it comes down to formal testing, the data says otherwise. A high achiever will typically succeed in all areas, including formal testing. You'll be able to track their progress as well as use it to compare against peers. Transition information from year group to year group can be crucial to help identify which pupils are current or future high achievers. It's very easy to see a pupil and make an assumption of their ability. However, transition information will earmark specific information and will tell you which pupils you should be keeping an eye on. For example, Josh may be quiet in class, but his mathematical skills are excellent and he needs to be challenged. If you didn't have this information, Josh could be missed in the first half term. Transition information is crucial to ensure your pupils are hitting the ground running and helping you to pick up where the last teacher left off, leading to swift progress. School intake and context, including social and economic factors. Dependent on the school setting, some of the higher achievers in one school may not be so in another school in a different setting. For example, you may have a child who's been at an underperforming school but doing well with their natural ability, or a child who's been to a private school and had additional tutoring. They may appear to be performing at the same level, but you have to consider their background to identify the gifted. Checklist of characteristics, either general or subject-specific. A child may be able to be identified quite early on in their education as a high achiever, and there may be a range of characteristics which would indicate this in the early years setting. These characteristics would possibly include the ability to comprehend material several levels above their age, surprising emotional depth and sensitivity at a young age, strong sense of curiosity, enthusiastic about unique interests and topics, quirky or mature sense of humour, creative problem solving and imaginative expression, absorbs information quickly with few repetitions needed, self-aware, socially aware and aware of global issues. Ultimately, identifying high achievers is a whole school approach. Input from teachers, lunchtime supervisors and teaching assistants will all contribute to the decision with guidance from leadership. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is part 1 of 2, so keep a lookout for our second video on how to keep your high performers challenged. If you found this video useful, then check out the rest of our channel for more on working in education. And as always, let's keep your career in motion.